Hey everyone, this is Will, and I'm here for Team Pro Lifers. And today we're going to be starting a new segment where I'm going to be going through some pro-choice arguments, seeing how they hold up. And today we're going to be going over one called the violinist argument. And this argument was made by a lady named Judith Jarvis Thompson in defense of abortion. And just for the record, the source I'm using is spot.colorado.edu. So this is from her book called Philosophy and Public Affairs, which has been reprinted many times. I'm using the version called Intervention and Reflection, Basic Issues in Medical Ethics from Wadsworth in 1996. But what Miss Thompson does is she portrays a defense of abortion using an imaginary scenario. I think it's one of the more rational arguments, but we're going to look into it. So let's just get right in. So her story, her imaginary fictional story, is this scenario that centers around a violinist. So I'll read it. But now let me ask you to imagine this. You wake up in the morning and find yourself back to bed with an unconscious violinist. A famous unconscious violinist. He's been found to have a fatal kidney ailment, and the Society of Music Lovers has canvassed all the available medical records and found that you alone have the right blood type to help. They've therefore kidnapped you, and last night the violinist circulatory system was plugged into yours so that your kidneys can be used to extract poisons from his blood as well as your own. The director of the hospital now tells you, look, we're sorry the Society of Music Lovers did this to you. We would never have permitted it if we had known. But still, they did it, and the violinist is now plugged into you. To unplug you would be to kill him. But never mind, it's only for 9 months. By then, he will have recovered from his ailment and can be safely unplugged from you. Is it morally incumbent on you to accede to the situation? No doubt it'd be very nice of you if you did. A great kindness. But do you have to accede to it? What if it were not 9 months, but 9 years, or longer still? If the director of the hospital says, tough luck, I agree. But now you've got to stay in bed with the violinist plugged into you for the rest of your life. Because remember this, all persons have a right to life, and violinists are persons. Granted that you have a right to decide what happens in your body, but a person's right to life outweighs your right to decide what happens in and to your body. So you can never, ever be unplugged from him. Imagine you regard this as outrageous, which suggests something really is wrong with that plausible-sounding argument I mentioned a moment ago. Okay, so at first glance, this argument sounds very plausible. It's very smart, very rational. Ms. Thompson really laid it out. There's a few things I think she's missing here. So the first thing I want to mention is that this scenario would only apply to people that got pregnant against their own will. So in cases of rape and incest, for example. If a couple decides to get pregnant, decides to do the act that makes them get pregnant, then that's a different scenario because they chose to by doing that act. So it's a logical consequence. So the first thing is this scenario only applies to the cases of rape and incest. And we'll get into those. So the main thing I think this argument is missing is that it fails to lack the distinction between natural rights and supernatural good. So for example, if I were drowning in the ocean and there was no lifeguard on duty, there were no one. I'm actually at the beach right now, so it's a nice little scenario. If I were drowning, then you wouldn't have to go out and save me. Like, it would be a heroic act. It would be amazing if you did. But you would be under no obligation to go out and save me because it's a supernatural good. It's not a natural right. But the thing is, there are natural rights too, and whether you're atheist, Christian, religious, doesn't matter. But either granted by the government or by God, there are natural rights too, and you can't attack these natural rights. So, for example, you can't attack the natural right to life. You can't attack the natural right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Those are the big three in the Constitution that's granted by the government. So, you cannot attack natural rights, but you can ignore a supernatural good. So what this scenario fails to lack is that this is a scenario of supernatural good. It's you saving someone's life. It's you saving someone's life against your own will at first, but you can get out of that. You can unplug yourself from it. It's you saving someone's life. It's not you infringing upon their right to live. So the problem with this argument is that it fails to make the distinction between a supernatural good and a natural right. It's like saying that not saving me drowning in the ocean would be the same as you murdering me in my sleep. It's not the same scenario because it's two different goods. It's a natural good that must be respected, that you have no right to infringe upon, you cannot infringe upon, versus a supernatural good that you aren't obliged to do, but that you can do. So that's my thoughts on Ms. Thompson's defense of abortion. I don't think it is the worst argument. I think it's one of the much better ones. It's very well thought out, and a lot of people fail to realize that they don't give her the credit it's due. This is much more thought out than a lot of the pro-abortion arguments. So I give Ms. Thompson that. Great job on thinking this out. But I just don't think it lives with the same litmus test as it should if it's talking about abortion and a life-saving scenario in the same situation. So thanks so much for watching. This is Will for Team Pro-Lifers, and see you next week.